Hi, I'm standing outside St Barnabas in Jericho once more. And in the past week, which has been cooler and a bit wetter than the week before, the greenery has come on amazingly. And it's a turning point. The trees, almost all the trees, are now more leaf than bud. And it gives the feeling that this phase of spring will soon be over. I'm starting at St Barnabas again because this is the magnolia tree that I've videoed twice, once in bud and once in flower, and now it's in leaf. Compare it with the previous two videos whose links I'll put in my description, and you can see how different it is. All the flowers have gone. No, not quite all the flowers. There are two there. Almost all the flowers have gone. And what's left is fresh green leaf in that lovely, almost translucent green that you get in mid-spring. So I'm going to walk to one or two parts of Oxford where I think this sort of spring greenery is particularly apparent. As I say, I started here because I've videoed this tree in its different phases before. I'm going to turn off now and go towards the city centre. Now I'm on Richmond Road in Jericho, and this tree is interesting because it's still unfolding, as it were. You can see how some of the clusters of leaves have only just emerged from being nicely packaged in their buds. And I think it's very elegant and very clever the way that these shapes emerge. And also what struck me is that there seem to be two slightly different types of leaf. These bunches are heavier and the leaves look slightly less veined and a bit sort of rounder. And the bunches hang more like that. And there are some of them above me. So this is a tree that is still coming into leaf, but most of the ones that I'm going to look at have got further than that by now. So I'm going to go towards the city centre. And here's another tree at the top of Richmond Road, very close to Little Clarendon Street, which is there. And this tree is interesting because of the way the amount of growth changes across it. On those branches to the left, the leaves are only just coming out. And as you go to the right, they're much more advanced. Now I'm at Taylor's on St Giles, where I've just enjoyed a cappuccino, and I'm going to look at a few of the trees here. And that is one that I always associate with St Giles in the spring. It's more in leaf than not, but there is still a sense of openness about it. The leaves are still small, and there's a lot of empty space between them. And some of those trees over the road are similar, and others have come rather more into leaf. But they're all nice, fresh greens, and the leaves aren't damaged by rain or insects yet. That's St Giles Church, of course. And something else I've noticed, though it may be harder to demonstrate on this video, is that the students are coming back. I saw quite a few parental cars yesterday ferrying them in, and there'll be more today. And this is the term for enjoying Oxford. Evening walks to pubs, punting, rowing if you happen to be that way inclined, and just being able to go out and enjoy the scenery, the architecture. Pims in College Gardens. The sun shining off the polished wood in the old Bodleian, giving a sort of golden haze to everything. This vaguely reminds me of Narnia and C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis wrote a number of books, several of which feature Narnia, and one of them, I think it's The Magician's Nephew, part of it is set just after Narnia has been created, when it is so full of life that anything stuck into the ground will just grow. And there's a famous scene where a bit of a lamppost gets brought over from London, where it's been broken off the rest of the lamppost in a fight, and it gets stuck into the fresh, just created soil of Narnia and grows. And there's something about this lamppost and the sense of new growth in the trees that reminds me of that. I videoed some of the flowers round here for a flower trail from St Barnabas to the city church a week or two ago, and some of them have now gone, but these are still very much alive. Really nice. So these are the spring trees of St Giles. And the leaf cover is new, and it's still quite thin. I think later in the year I wouldn't be able to see so many of the branches through it. But now I can, and the patterns are very appealing. Back in November, I walked from Folly Bridge to Poundland off the Temple Cowley shopping centre, and I then walked back along Cricket Road. It was an unusually nice day, especially for November or possibly December, and it was almost a false spring. And I referred then to that sense of, how can I put it, sort of slightly excited, nostalgic lustfulness that you get with spring. I had a sense of it then, but I'm getting a very powerful sense of it now. This is the real thing. Well, she's a student, must be dressed like that. That is formal university academic dress or subfusk. And it's worn on occasions such as exams. It's a little bit early for mass exams, but maybe there's some individual exam that she has to attend. It's also worn on other occasions, such as I believe when seeing the proctors, and I hope she's not doing that because that can be rather an unpleasant experience. The proctors are the university disciplinary officials. Now I'm going to walk to the end of Beaumont Street and show something else. This is a nice pair of wall plants, and I hope the Ashmolean authorities leave it where it is, or leave them where they are. Groundsel or something similar, and what I think is Herb Robert. I talked about that when I did the flower trail through Jericho. There were patches of it growing up against the wall in Cardigan Street. This one isn't so constrained for height, and it's grown rather taller and less compact. Now I'm on Walton Street and I'm facing Worcester College, and I always like the way that the fresh green leaves of Worcester College's trees here peep over onto the pavement and harmonise with the stonework. It's a very serene atmosphere. Unfortunately, the pavements on this side are very narrow, and I've got to be careful not to step back and squash somebody while I'm videoing. So this is Worcester College. Now I'm on Parks Road, facing south, and I'm going to walk along to the end slowly. And now I've caught the sun. The sun's come out and is shining through the fresh leaves. And the wildflowers are appearing on the left by the wall there, and on the verge there.
Well, she smacks them in the freezer, knowing that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think she goes.
And this has the same appeal for me as Worcester College, which is why I went over there to show it to you. The same sense of the trees amongst the stonework. More so, I think. But I do find something very attractive about Worcester and its greenery too. And one thing I'm looking forward to, I hope that the weather will be like this on May the 1st, because if it is, I'll be coming down Parks Road to go to Magnolia Bridge and video what's going on there. So that was another Springwalk video about the city centre and some of its treescape. And what I can stop doing now is thinking of trees as intricate machines called buds for preserving growth from one season to the next, and start thinking of them as just very attractive green shapes. See you next time.